cross your fingers. I know you're hoping everything is good. I do too. Okay, foot on the brake in park, and so nothing's going to happen even though I have the drive shaft out and all that. I'm not going to take off, but I'm going to turn her on, and I'm going to turn the ignition on. I did reconnect the battery. Oh, what a sweet sound. First time. Let's do it again. Oh, it even sounds better. Okay, I'm going to turn her off. Folks, if you'll go back to my beginning relay, or if you go back to the beginning of my video, I showed you the click, 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 click. And so that led me to be required to take the starter out. So I'm going to get back under there. All right, take care. Okay, folks, you cannot get the starter out with the drive shaft in through that opening. So you might as well figure on first thing taking the drive shaft out. And it's not a big deal. I wanted to see if it was possible to maneuver that starter out, and it is impossible. There's not enough room. And so what we got to do is take these bolts loose and remove them so that the drive shaft will be able to fall free. And we have to remove this cross member. Not totally. We have to remove the bolts on this side all the way out, and all we need is a little room to drop this down, leaving one side connected. We're going to take a 8mm socket, and let's see, I just happen to have one here, and that fits right on there. And I probably don't need any kind of extension, and I'm going to stick my little ratchet on there and get it to where it's removing. Okay, it's going to move a little bit until the slack is out to break things loose. And so you should have it in your toolbox. It does a job. Okay, and so I'm gonna have to just loosen them up, and they're not super tight. They're small bolts, so look how long that baby is. Okay, now we got to go to the next one. Okay, here we go. And I'm not gonna let you have to see the whole thing. Okay, we're taking the cross member bolts out. Now these are the transmission rear mount bolts. This one comes from over here, and this one right here is coming out. And they're different size bolts. These are short, so I'm going to put those in the center. You see, those are the short ones. And now I'm going to pull this one out and see how long it is. If it's about the same size. This is not really that heavy. I was thinking it might be heavy, so you might not need as much work as with support as you think. So let's see. It feels pretty light because it's hollow. Okay, these are long. The main thing is to have the back supported with the jack right here, or jack stand. See, all I got to do is loosen another couple of bolts. And right here, you see, I got to be able to get that shaft, which is only a couple of inches, to go through there. So that's what we're looking at. And I've almost got the bolts off, and I marked where the drive shaft is so that I can put everything back the way it is. And there's these little brackets that go onto the rear drive shaft, and I marked them 1 and 2 marks and no mark. So now you're gonna see that I'm able to have just 2 bolts at the other end, just holding the other end, and then I just kind of lower this down. I've got enough room to go through there. This is not heavy, so it's not a big deal that you need to go out and get a jack or anything like that. I have it under here, and I'm using it to hold things. I don't want to let this go all the way down and bend the end of it. So that's the way I'm doing it. So now I've got enough room to move that last 2 bolts, and now that drive shaft can come out and slide right over this way. Now I got the drive shaft out. I just need to simply move it out this way. Now you're gonna see me remove this drive shaft. Let's see if I can just pull it right on out and down, and it comes out. Yahoo! Perfect. I put the cross member back in with 1 bolt so I can get in here and work with it, and there's the area. Now we got a big old area to pull that starter out. Pull this out and look at this. Look at that. Wahoo! And there it is. You see how much of a easier job this will be by removing that drive shaft. Just removing the front and trying to move it around will not work. You'll have a lot more room to get up in there and do stuff. Okay, the new starter, and it's a rebuilt one, $107, and it's a lifetime guarantee. So if anything happens to it, they said bring it back and we'll give you a new one. So I'm okay with that. That's all they had. And here's the drive mechanism. This is the starter solenoid right here, which is a part of the starter. So if something's bad in it, and that's where some contacts are, that's probably a lot of the intermittent problems. The power lead goes on this one right here, and this is from your start relay. That's that plug that goes on there. So here you can see, this is your ground connector that gives ground into there, and then down underneath going into here is the wires that actually connect the battery to the starter. Up there about like that, and so all you're able to see is basically this and the wires that go into them. Okay, and there's the old drive shaft right there. Take this nut off and slide the wire connector for the power into there and slip this on. I took this on off first, this off last, so I'm going to probably slide this on first and then try that, or I'll see what I can do, how it works. Okie doke. Here is the position that I found that if I place it in, I can get to that nut, which you see is right there, and I've got to tighten it. I've tightened it with my hands as much as I can. That's the 13 millimeter that I've got to tighten down, and then slide that spade clip onto the spade terminal. I can't really begin to show. You just have to put it up in there and work with your hands. If you hook the little connector, which is round, if you hook it in there and then kind of twist the starter down a little bit, it'll hold it long enough onto the terminal that you can get your fingers on the bolt and then slide the bolt over. And all of this is done with feel. So I've been able to do that kind of stuff. So if you're not much on working blind, this is going to be a hard job to get out and then get back in. So I got that one. That's the hard part. So it's going to take a little determination. You're going to need to have a light. See, I put my light up there and it gives me some light, and now I got it from the bottom. So that's the best I can show you, okay? But sitting just like that, it seems to give me, that's after I've got it connected. Now I put it in that position to tighten it with a wrench. Now, the way I showed you in the beginning, I can work between these two locations and tighten that. There's the new starter. Now, let me show you the connections. You can kind of, I'm going to pull it out, pull it back, and you can see right there the slide on and the nut. I'm not going to rotate it around. Folks, this is the hardest part, getting these two in there, those two connectors. And there's no way I can video it or show it to you any other way than describe that. You have to feel it and use your fingertips to actually put the nut on that stud. It's going to be something you're just going to have patience and just try every angle with the starter. You need to be able to have the skid plate off so you can see in here. Get a light up there where up in there. I don't think you can see it, but it's a little light LED, and it gives you light in there, okay? And then once you're all through and you lock those down, now we got to tighten the starter back in position and get everything buttoned up. So now the rest of it's going to be fairly easy. Here you can see how it is. So I'm not going to go through all of showing you putting everything back together, because I don't think it's necessary. It's going to be too long of a video. This will be kind of a part 2. Okay, as you can see, the two 15 millimeter bolts are installed to hold the starter in place, locked down tight. The two wire connections are complete. Now there's only one other thing that I'm going to do that I didn't do, and it's is this heat shield. What I'm going to do is, there's a connection on it that's difficult to get to, and I wore myself out and I said I am not worrying about it. So what I'm going to do is, there is one connection point, a 10 millimeter bolt right there, and I can put this shield in right here. Okay, this shield protects the solenoid and all kinds of stuff. So this is the way it goes. Up in there like this. And I'll secure that right there, and that'll be enough because it'll be the insulation. I'm just not going to worry about this top bolt. It's just too much. Okay, we're going to put the drive shaft in, and this is the front, and I've got the cross member down, and it's supported in the back by my jack stand, and all I have to do is put this baby up in there, and then I need to take a long bolt like right here, and I need to push this up and secure this so that it holds it in place just a little bit. Okay, there. Now I'm gonna work with the front. You see, I gotta line it up in there and we'll just attach it at the front and then the back. But actually, I'm going to attach the back first because that was the last thing I took off. So we're gonna hook him up first. There. So once I line those up, then I've got the drive shaft exactly in the position, and there's where the straps go. Now actually, you can see where the strap went. One went across here, and it's number 1, so I have one for that. Okay, and I'm going to do that first. Okay, here's my number 1 that I marked for that number 1, and it's going to go across those 2 points. Okay, I got all of the bolts in, and everything is straight, and also they had some yellow marks up here on the drive shaft that shows the alignment of it, so I did good with that. I'm going to put this back in place, and I'll be able to remove this. So I'm going to put all the bolts back into the cross member because I don't need to worry about it anymore. The drive shaft is in, so we're ready to put that back in place. And that's what what we're going to try to do is line up those holes, and you can turn the tire. You need to have the tire up off the ground, and you see you can turn and match those holes up. If I can, let's see, there, see, I can. So if I need to move it, I don't need to put it in neutral or anything because my transfer case is locked in position. But as I need, I can line the holes up. So that's what I got to do, is get my bolts into those positions, move around to the next 2. I can do 2 bolts at a time that way. So let me do that. I can't show it to you really easily. If I can rotate it. Aha! I can. I don't have to put a transfer case in neutral. All I got to do is, I'm going to show you, rotate the bolts to where they're both at the bottom. Okay, right there. Okay, like that. When I get them like that, I can put the bottom 2 in now. So all you have to do is put it in the transmission in neutral with the selector. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna rotate the top 2 bolts down to the bottom where I can tighten them. Okay, There. Now I can tighten those two bolts. Hopefully you can see them. Okay, and we'll be done. All right, let me do that.